Hi, good morning. It is Wednesday today, and my name is Jessie, and I'm with Simply Refreshing Life. And this is another golden nugget for you, a 15-minute or less video to share a truth. I changed the time of the videos to half an hour later in hopes that I can reach more of you. Maybe 9:30 was a little early. So I'm going to try it at 10 for a few days, few weeks, and see if that's a better time for you all. I do need to do it in the morning because that's when the kids are in school and I can't, be here. When my kids are home, I want to be with my kids. So that's why I don't do it in the afternoon or in the evening, because that's just quiet time, family time, dinner time, and just rest time as well. I do want to highlight the mindset challenge. Mindset is very, very important. Whatever we think of ourselves and the world that is surrounded us, it depends on how we're going to see our life and be successful. And so I put together this guide for you. It's a series of 6 videos. They're not longer than 15 minutes. I assure you, I'm not going to take much of your time, but it's going to make a huge impact in your mindset. So I do recommend that you get that guide going, because it's going to help you a lot. Also, I haven't mentioned this in my videos lately, but I do have a couple groups going on. One is in English and the other one is in Spanish. It's the same thing. I meant to say it's the same content on both groups. It's easier for me to do one in English and one in Spanish. The English group is called Loving Your Imperfect Self. You can search it here on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, go to Facebook and then just do Loving Your Imperfect Self. Or I do think the link is in the description. I think I put it in. If not, just search it, Loving Your Imperfect Self. If you speak Spanish or you'd rather have the Spanish group, that's Vida Simplemente Refrescante, really easy, and you can just find it there. If you are watching on Facebook, you can go to YouTube and search Simply Refreshing Life and subscribe to my channel. And the only reason I say this is because Facebook doesn't always let you know when I come live. Also, the video is going to get lost in the mix. So if you cannot watch at 10 in the morning, you can always watch it later. And YouTube is the easiest way to find it, rather than you scrolling down my page trying to find the video. I'm just trying to make it easier for you. So yeah, YouTube is just right there. So Simply Refreshing Life on YouTube or Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook, it's Simply Refreshing Life as well. And whatever is easier for you, it worked for me. I'm just giving you the options of, the YouTube thing. Today we're going to talk about, joy. Can we find joy and peace in troubled times? Of course, the Bible verses in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. And I'm going to read it from the King James Version today. And it's, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. As against such, there is no law. And it's very simple. It's very similar to the ones that I've been reading before, but I have the King James Version here. And the oil that I want to show to you is called Joy. It's an amazing oil. I really love the way it smells. I actually make a perfume out of it because I don't use regular perfumes anymore. And so I use this one. It smells so good. I use essential oils to make my perfumes, and Joy is one of them. Joy has citrus oils, ylang ylang, geranium, which is my favorite, jasmine. It smells really good. And it just creates like a happy feeling. And remember what I told you about aromatherapy? It connects with our emotions. So aromatherapy is really important when you do it right, when you do it with oils that are pure, not candles, but oils. Speaking of candles, there's a link here on the comments and to tell you why I ditch candles. And Joy is one of the oils that I go to for my aromatherapy because it connects with my emotions. So I usually put it around my heart area. I have a little roll-on that I put on, and it's just, it makes me feel better. Let's talk about joy. So when we talk about joy in the Bible, it doesn't mean that you're happy all the time, that you're denying what's going on around you, that you're saying, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't. Everything is fine." That's not what it's talking about. Okay, we cannot deny our circumstances, you guys. We cannot deny that we have issues, we have problems, we have worries. That's I mean, we all have them, right? But when we have the joy of the Lord, that's a whole different story. It's not about just being happy and jolly and everything, and like, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, even though you might be not, right? Emotionally speaking, or whatever is surrounding you. That's not what it means. It just means that you are finding like a solution, or finding the blessings that you have and joy, and be able to joy in those. So we all have situations, and I have a story to tell you. I told you before, I was reading this book, When Faith is Forgiven, and there is a story here of a woman in China. And let me tell you the story, and it relates so much of what I'm talking about, being joyful in hard times. This woman in China was holding services, secret services in her house, and sharing the gospel and all that. In China, this was written. Let me just see the year, because I don't know if this is current. I'm assuming it is, but this is in 2002. So in China, you have to register when you have a service, or want to do a church. You have to register with the government in order for you to get permission, and they tell you when and how you're going to meet. But a lot of Christians do meet in secret, because as you know, in China, there's no freedom of religion. And so this lady was hosting services in her house, secret services. Well, she was arrested. If they go and arrest people, they arrest the leaders of the church. They don't arrest everybody. That's what the book is saying. So they arrest her because she was hosting the service, and she was thrown in jail for six months, in jail for 6 months. And so the missionary for Voice of the Martyrs went to interview her after the 6 months, and she sat with him. No, he sat with her, and they were talking, and there was a translator, and he asked her, how was jail? That was a very simple question, right? Now, jail is not a holiday inn. It's not like a pleasant place to be. And I'm assuming that in China, jail conditions, especially for Christians, are not the best conditions that you can imagine. I mean, you can imagine these things, right? And so the missionary was expecting her to say, there was all kinds of animals and rats and, roaches or whatever. I ate, the meals were awful. The conditions were really bad. It was dark. I mean, I don't know. You can put your imagination to work on that situation. But instead, her answer was this. With a huge smile, she said, "It was wonderful." And the missionary was like, "Wait a minute, maybe the translation got lost there. Let me go back. Well, what do you mean it was wonderful?" And so he asked the question again, making sure that the translator was translating his question right from English to Mandarin. And the translator is saying, "Yes, I translated exactly the question, and this is what she's saying." And this is what she was saying. It was wonderful. It was wonderful because she got to pray all the time, and she got to be closer and drawing closer to the Lord. She says that she never felt as close to God as those 6 months that she was in jail. And not only that, but she led other people that were in jail to Christ. I mean, isn't that amazing? And she said this with a smile, with joy in her heart. I'm sure the living conditions were not ideal. I am sure she suffered cold at night, perhaps, or hot, or the living conditions in Chinese jails must not be, ideal. But she found joy in that, and this is what I mean when I say joy. When we have the joy of the Lord, the joy of our salvation, we can find the joy in our situation, and find the blessing in our situation. We all face situations, hardships and everything, but the fruit of the Spirit is joy, and it's peace. That supernatural peace that you don't understand where it's coming from, but you experience it. And I can't even describe it to you unless you experience this peace and this joy. I can tell you until my face is blue that that there is joy in situations like this, and there is peace like this. But until you experience it, you won't be able to understand it. And the only way you can experience it is in believing in God, believing in the Lord, believe that Jesus came and died for you on the cross, and he rose on the third day, and he's coming back again. When you believe that in your heart and you repent, you will be able to understand this peace and this joy that I'm talking about. I have a calendar here. Have you ever seen this? Of course you have. This calendar's, day by day. And today's word was so on point. And it says, heavenly peace requires let me start again. Heavenly peace requires that we be willing to give everything up. No guarantees, no safety net. Getting it all back again is no part of the equation. Only the willingness to lay it all on the line. And that is so on point. Heavenly peace is that. You don't know what's going to happen, but you are not worried because you know God's got you. He got your back. You don't know how long you're going to be without unemployment. You don't know when your next meal is going to come from. You don't know where your next house is going to be. You don't know if you're going to be able to drive to work. You don't know if your kid is going to be okay or not. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you know that God has your back, and that is it. You don't need to know anything else. God has your back. And when you understand that with your mind and with your heart, and you leave everything at Jesus' feet, you know that everything is going to be okay. And he's going to take care of you the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. I've experienced this joy and this peace that I'm talking about to you. We've gone through situations in our lives that have not been the easiest. And I've told you before, my husband was unemployed. We were on food stamps. We didn't know how we're going to pay our house. We didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. I remember one time I was at church, and somebody found out about a situation, and there was this woman who approached me, and she said, I need you to follow me in your car. I have something to give you. And I said, okay, sure. I didn't even think about it. And I followed her, and she gave me 2 boxes of food. And I remember coming home and the kids were looking at it, and it even had a little box of cupcakes for the kids. And they were like, oh, cupcakes. That was like a highlight of the day. And I remember just crying and saying, God, you are taking care of us. I didn't know how we're going to get, that week's, meals for our family of 5, but God knew. And I was able to have peace, and I was able to have joy. So it's really easy to accomplish this. All you have to do is trust in God. That's it. There's no magic. There's no trick. There's no, fine printing. All you have to do is really give your heart to Jesus. And that's it. He will take care of you. He will provide for you. And he will give you that peace, that supernatural peace that even in your mind, you will be thinking, wow, I have peace. I don't understand that, but I'm enjoying this. And that is exactly what God wants you to do. This is the fruit of the Spirit, joy and peace. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about a little bit more about patience. We're going to talk about, let me see, where is it? Here it is. I want to talk about patience with you. Patience is a big one. And then on Friday, we have a DIY, and we're going to be doing a journal page for this, the Fruit of the Spirit. So tune in on Friday, tomorrow too, and Friday, so we can do it together. I'm going to lower the camera so you can see my pages and see what I'm doing. I hope you have a terrific day today. And if you're catching the replay, let me know. If you have any questions or any comments, or if you'd like to share, a moment that you felt the peace of the Lord, please do. I want to be encouraged as much as you do. And so it really encourages me when you actually share a testimony with me of, a time that you felt that peace that you didn't understand, but you felt it so well. or a joy, share a story with me. I will love to be encouraged by that. Have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Bye.